Ladies and gentlemen, here we go into game number 1 between MTW Dimaga and Fnatic MSI TT1. We have a PVC. Starting map is going to be NASL's Metalopolis. I cannot wait for this to happen because TT1, one of my great friends in just the overall Brood War and StarCraft 2 community. Dimaga, he is just the most lovable character in the world. He's just right up there with White Raw. Actually, all the Ukrainians are just such a pleasure to have in this league. So glad that Dimaga will be going against TT1 for this match. And as I said, we're going to Metalopolis. Now, Metalopolis has a lot of different things about it. It is slightly Zerg favorite. That's what people have said, and I'll go ahead and show you as soon as we get into the game what the big things of PVZ or specifically ZVP are, and it'll kind of explain everything for now. But let's go ahead and see where these players are started. So in the top 12 o'clock position as the red Zerg, we have MTW Dimaga. And in the 6 o'clock position as the pink Protoss, you got Fnatic MSI's TT1. Now, as we were saying, a ZVP map to an extent. There's been a lot of metagame switches in Metalopolis since the beginning, the inception of StarCraft 2. The big problem with this map people are having is the counterattacks, and we can see that getting a third base, you can see there's a lot of open space that you have to defend. Along with over here, you have to defend this big open choke. A lot of times in the mid game, you come up to a place where Protoss is around 130 supply, and Zerg could potentially be maxed, you know, somewhere around the 180, 190, 200, 200. And that's where Zerg has a lot of initiative. They are the ones that say, I want to start the battle. And they can do it very easily by taking this gold expansion. Now, I say taking the gold expansion, just planting the units there. That's what I'm talking about. Once you plant the units there, you have access to attack this base over here, this base over here, and this base over here by drops. And it's so important, I think, that Zerg gets drops on this map in particular. But they don't even have to attack. They can just scoot all their units here, have spotters over here and here, and just simply expand. And that is a very viable tactic because Protoss can't really push out because the Zerg is counterattacking or threatening a counterattack. So there's a lot of things that TT1 has to be careful of. A lot of times we will see the Protoss play a lot more harass type until that 200 death ball. We'll see if TT1 has what it takes to take out a player that is Dimaga, such a powerful opponent, I would say. Probably one of the strongest opponents in the entire NASL division that TT1 has. But already we can see TT1 is starting off with a very abusive build. He's going up for this this Nexus. He's gone a second pylon before putting down a forge or gateway. Let's see what it is. It is a gateway, in fact, first. And look at this, he's actually putting down a pylon, trying to just pull as many drones as possible. If he can pull these drones for 25 minerals, he pulled, what is this, 6 drones? So that's just about 30 minerals that he was able to get rid of. It just washes, but it's a little nice trick, I guess, to for TT1 if Dimaga overextends himself with the amount of drones he pushes out. But for now, I like this. TT1 is just staying in here, making sure that he knows exactly what his opponent is doing. He did, I believe, yeah, he got a scout in there, saw that there were no extractors coming up. That should be a clear indication that no run-bys are really that threatening. He should put up one cannon, and that's it. He shouldn't put up any more. Maybe a second one to cover this area because it is a very wide open area. But I don't think that he should overdo it. He actually got a second gateway. Now, this is a little bit interesting. He's thrown down 2 assimilers. This has been, you know, the current style just to keep up, to apply a little bit of pressure. You get a couple of zealots out, and it does a couple things. It allows you to put on pressure, force those Zerglings out instead of drones, and gateways are independent of the Nexus. That's the most important thing, where Zerg mechanics don't have that. Everything comes out of the hatchery. So if you can force out some Zerglings, that you can call them potential drones. It's just that opportunity cost. So get those zealots out. For now, he's actually not doing that. kind of interesting. He's not utilizing his double gateway production, now finally doing so. I'm interested to see if he actually goes on further with that. I would say he should, for the sole purpose of, as we were talking about before, making sure that your Zerg opponent isn't making drones. But on top of that, you need a good scout. You need to see where exactly all their gas is going, where all their minerals are going. If he scouted it right now with a probe or with a zealot or something like that, he would see, oh, you're going a fast third. Now I can cut out fast mutas. Now I can cut out, you know, fast glial reconstitution, things like that. And it becomes a lot more manageable. You can be a lot more efficient with your build. You don't have to defend against so many things, hard counter. And there we go, a robotics facility going down. This is more so the, I guess, the correct response to how to play this matchup nowadays, assuming that a Zergling or Roach build isn't coming in. Now, I think, to be honest, TT1 is a player that takes a lot of assumptions in based on who he's going up against. He knows Dimaga is not an all-in player, so he says, okay, I'm going to assume that he's not doing a Zergling Roach all-in, and I will be able to manage anything. These two Zealots, it might seem really weird, especially if there was some sort of Zergling Roach all-in, but this is absolutely safe, assuming that you're just forcing your opponent to play a little bit more micro-intensive, and you can see the Zealots will be cleaned up pretty easily, but you got the information in. Let's go ahead and look. 1-1. And units lost tab. It looks like TT1 lost a little bit more. But that's exactly what the purpose of those two Zealots are. They're not to kill anything. They're not to get a huge advantage. They're basically just to scout out, see what's going on. And look at that. A Warp Prism coming up right away. This is such an interesting build. Going a 5-gate Warp Prism. He does have a second cannon down. It looks like +1 attack is going up. Let's look at what Dimaga's up to. He has an evolution chamber. Roach-born glial reconstitution is coming up, and I do agree with that, going further into this mid-games. For now, let's go ahead and look at the income tab. Both of them at equal harvesters. That's the power of that fast nexus. And wow, look at that, a spire going down. This is very interesting. We normally don't see spire tech at all. Dimaga is going up to 6 extractors. He has the macro hatchery down, which I love about him. But, you know, I'm interested why he got the spire tech. Obviously, we're most likely seeing Mutalisks. But, you know, mutas aren't as efficient, I think, on this map in particular, because you want to get the additional bases like this 4th base, like this 5th base, things like that. Or that's generally towards the push distances. On top of that, you can't spread yourself out. And oh my gosh, 4 sentries coming back here. We're going to see a huge a huge Zealot warp, and he's going to trap all the drones in here. There we go. He's not actually put anything down. Oh my god, he needs to switch this to a phase. No, he just takes out the the queen for now. I would think he wants to put that into a phase mode, but no, he's not going to do that at all. And he's just going to lift up those sentries as soon as one of them goes down. A little bit of a cute harass, also stopping a bit of mining time, but still, I don't think it did enough damage really for it to be worth it. The Warp Prism, of course, still lives, so it has utility afterwards. But as I was saying, a lot of times when you go mutas, you spread out your expansions so that you can go into constant base races. This has a very natural push progression, so I attack to this expansion down here, and then I attack here, and then I attack here. All of a sudden, I've gobbled up all your bases if I'm going for that max 200 army. That's why it's kind of weird for Dimaga to go this fast spire. It looks like he's actually transitioning off of that. He was just using that for a little bit of agency to get corruptors out. Wow. This is something that we have not seen. I love this, though. The corruptors, of course, to deal with the Warp Prisms accurately, and also you can transition them a little bit later into Broodlords. On top of that, they have good synergy with the army, especially killing those Colossus, being able to throw down that, what is it called? The corruption. That's very important as well. And look at that. The Corruptors will take their first kill on this Warp Prism, but that gives TT1 the timing push. He's saying, okay, your Corruptors are out of position. That makes my Colossus a lot stronger, and you have to bring all your units together, so goodbye 4th base. This is a 2-base timing. Do keep in mind, we don't see TT1 looking to get that 3rd anytime soon. I think if he wants to take a 3rd, it's going to be after he kills this 3rd base, if he does at all. This is a very tense moment for both these players, though. It looks like TT1 is putting up a forward pylon. Income tab showing 81, Harvester 63. Army tab, let's go ahead and look at it. Both of them very, very similar, and this is going to be the big attack. Can TT1 do enough damage to really make Dimaga just back up? Yes, he will. It looks like he's going to evacuate all the drones. Hatchery is going down, and that will be TT1's cue to just back up right now and relax. Get that 3rd base. Know that you have an advantage and retain it, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Now, is he actually going to push on further? I don't know if this is the best way. Looks like Dimaga is taking 2 expansions at the same time. Now, Dimaga has had a lot more income to work off of. So, and this is when it really starts to materialize. You have to realize that, because it takes like a good 1 minute, 2 minute for all the larvae just switch over to, something like mass roaches and things. But TT1 has been scaling pretty nicely. Now taking that 3rd base in the bottom right-hand corner, but it looks like he wants to poke in. Now the Corruptor's going to come in. The force fields go down. The roaches are in the back here, and it looks like all of these Colossus will die. Only 2 Colossus, excuse me, not a huge amount, but now finally starting up on those roaches. It looks like there's just too much for TT1. He's just dismantling his opponent. Corruption's going down on those Stalkers, but I don't think it's enough. It looks like another warp in coming in from TT1. TT1 cleaning up all of Dimaga's army. This is looking so bad for Dimaga. The Queen going down, and now the Natural's under attack. All the tech buildings are right here. GG comes out from Dimaga, and TT1 will take game number 1. And the power of the fast robotics facility after the fast expansion is really shown. A lot of times Zerg have to take advantage of that. We've seen Hasselobs, we've seen Mana do this exact build, and it's become so profitable. You get those early Colossus out, and you're able to do a lot of damage that's not normally done. It's normally before that roach timing where Zerg is most vulnerable. That's when you see those, the 6 gate, or not even 6 gate pressure, maybe something like a 4 or 5 gate pressure. That's where you see a lot of net results coming out where Protoss can do a lot of damage. TT1, on the other hand, choosing to use the Warp Prism very early, forcing the units out when really Dimaga is at an optimal saturation. He was only at 57 drones at that point. But, however, Dimaga was the one that had to switch off early, giving TT1 the ability to stay up in Harvesters. Off of that, he was just going for a straight-out push. He got those fast Colossus up, and then you saw an overcommitment of those Corruptors as well. Those 2 Colossus were down, and you had so much supply wrapped up in those Corruptors. It just shows the utility of not only getting the robotics facility out, but those warp gates really massing up on them and being able to choose whether or not to go the mass gateway play or to go for a Colossus play. Great play coming out from TT1. We'll see if he can continue that streak in game number 2. After this break, we'll be back.